Juvenile correction system.
And he has lots of adventures. Every day he's looking for a new adventure. Thank you.
He still has the scars from disturbing animal abuse, but this survivor is now loving life as a happy house pet.
This is News Center now. Male, female, or non-binary, you now have 3 gender options at the BMV. Hello everybody, I'm Lee Goldberg, and welcome to our YouTube people and our Facebook Live people for our first day live on both.
I know. Hello everybody, I'm Lindsay Mills. Maine is the first state in New England to offer gender-neutral licenses. For some, it's as simple as checking a box, but for at least one Mainer, it's a question of identity.
My mother always told me if I had been born as society perceives as a male, then my name would have been Ian, and she was always debating between Ian or Meredith, and so I kind of just combined the two.
Ian Meredith Lindsay is proud of the name they decided to change on their birth certificate. They also wanted to make a change to their driver's license. That wasn't so easy, and the result would impact many others exactly 1 year later.
You know, I never went into this with like, oh my gosh, I want to be this trailblazer, this pioneer. It was more like, this is just something I need to do.
Lindsay does not identify as male or female.
The pronouns I use are they, them, theirs.
And requested a driver's license with a non-binary gender marker. When they were denied, a complaint was filed with the Maine Human Rights Commission, which began a conversation. The result? The Maine Bureau of Motor Vehicles added non-binary as its third option for gender. The font will be displayed as M, F, or X.
I'm just hoping that it'll bring more compassion to people and just awareness of how they view people.
Lindsay says this change will also help with confusion. For example, when going through TSA to visit family out of state, they say they've been groped in that process before.
Knowing that that is something that could happen every time I travel is extremely anxiety-inducing. I don't have any family that lives here in the States, so I do travel quite a lot.
I was just speaking with the co-chairs of Pride Portland this morning, and I'm thinking we're going to have one of the most celebratory festivals we've ever had. While
the timing of the change is in line with Pride celebrations, it's also met with controversy.
What was the world coming to, man? You're either male or female.
Maine is the third state to offer a non-binary gender specification, the first in New England.
Language is a constantly evolving mechanism of communication, and I think individuals who identify as non-binary are right on the forefront of that evolution.
Now, the changes will roll out as part of a system upgrade as the DMV does that as soon as next summer. Until then, if you wish to update your ID, you can fill out the gender designation form and the BMV will send you a sticker. We have a link to that form at our website and mobile app.
All right, Carson. Summer was great. Football weather today. So is it over? Is that it? We're done?
That's kind of how we've been rolling. No, actually, we're going back to Heat for perhaps for Father's Day too.
Hey,
you have
your first one.
It's a little celebration. Yeah. Oh yeah, I get like
it's my 20th.
1/4 of a Father's Day because he's been 3 months.
Yeah,
maybe about 3 months.
You get a quarter of a present.
Kept him alive for 3 months so far. All right, 67 officially in Portland today, 67 in Sanford, 72 in Freiburg. So, you know, as Lee mentioned, it is a little bit on the cool side. The thing that really made it feel that way, though, were the dew points. I'll show you those in a second. Temperatures in the 60s along the coastline, still 71 in Augusta and 72 in Waterville. All right, here's a look at the visible satellite. Nice and clean, deep blue skies, another beautiful day. We've got another one tomorrow, although tomorrow will be substantially warmer than today because it's going to be clear. It wasn't that warm today, and the air mass is dry. All of those will factor into a pretty cool night for this time of the year. In fact, we'll be in the 30s in Berlin, Caribou, Millinocket, right around 40 degrees, even along the coastline in the mid-40s. So it will be crisp-ish tonight. Hour by hour forecast showing you those temperatures dropping off. Now tomorrow we warm up quickly though, get into the upper 70s to around 80 along the coastline. And I'm not sure exactly what this model is doing, but I think it'll be substantially warmer than this inland, likely in the mid 80s, places like Lewiston, Augusta, Freiburg, into Bangor between 82 and 85 degrees. There's more warmth where that came from. We could be hitting 90 by the weekend. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes.
I just burst into tears. I couldn't believe it.
He started his life with his muzzle taped shut, and captured hearts all over Maine. In 2015, pit bull puppy Blue was found in the Bethel area, horribly abused and in need of medical care and a new home.
Well, at the time, donations came pouring in, and the phone was ringing off the hook for people looking to adopt the lovable pit. So, who was the lucky family? Nearly 3 years later, Christina Rex shows us.
Hey, Blue. Blue's life is a walk in the park.
Can you shake?
Fetch, a dip in the water, and endless love for his mom, Sandy.
Thank you. He had the willingness to live. He had the ability to forgive.
He's come a long way from fall 2015, when he was found badly injured, his mouth taped shut.
He still has nightmares. Every day he at least has one where he whimpers and cries out.
At the time, donations and adoption requests flooded the Bethel Animal Hospital. One of the first people to pick up the phone was Sandy in Western Maine.
Good boy, sit.
Blue was loved then, and he's loved now by his new mom and some 5,000 plus Instagram followers.
I'm trying to be proactive and take his story and show people, you know, that he's moved on and we all can learn something from that.
It's Sandy's way of keeping Blue's supporters up to date. The shy dog lover would rather be behind the camera. She and Blue are leaving a bad beginning behind them and focusing on the adventures ahead.
Good job. To the people who did this to Blue, you know, we never found out the person that abused him, but this is justice. You know, him going and meeting people and showing them that he's got a good life and he's helping others.
So Blue's abuse case is still an open and active investigation. Sandy spends a lot of her time traveling around the state with Blue and educating people on pit bulls. And the mother-son duo is actually looking to become a service team soon. They're going to go to nursery homes and hospitals and whatnot.
It didn't seem like there would be a happy ending to this story 3 years ago.
I know.
And so it's so great to go back now and look and see whatever happened to that
and he's
dog.
the sweetest dog.
Yeah.
He's so sweet.
Oh, it just makes your stomach hurt hearing the nightmares that he still has and the scarring that's still visible. Oh, all right, Christina, thanks. Well, we are just a few hours away from the historic meeting between President Trump and the Supreme Leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un. But before the two leaders sit down together, delegations from both sides are meeting to hammer out the details. President Trump met with the Prime Minister of Singapore today, while Kim Jong-un went on a walking tour of Singapore.
I think that I brought awareness to a lot of things around the world.
Also on the ground in Singapore today, former basketball player Dennis Rodman, he told reporters he just happens to be there, while White House officials say Rodman will have no role in the summit. But Rodman was one of the first high-profile Americans to sit down with Kim Jong-un, and some even consider the Supreme Leader an athlete to be friends, and the athlete to be friends.
Special Olympians in Maine are wearing their hardware very proudly today, and well deserved. After the state games wrapped up this weekend, the Brunswick Police Department posted this photo of an employee who took home 4 medals. Megan will compete in the National Special Olympics later on this summer, and those will be in Seattle. So congratulations to all the athletes who competed over the weekend. Job very well done.
Yes, okay. Some Mainers on Broadway also celebrating big this week. The artists from our state who took home Tonys last night. That's next.
And tech companies did what they could to keep it, but today net neutrality is no more. What does this mean for your internet connection? We'll let you know.
It's fun to...
Hello.
Yes.
To our YouTube live viewers, welcome to the inaugural edition. Well, we have been live once, I think. But this is now the beginning of a new normal. So we'll be doing this every day with you guys at 5. So we want to say hello to Filter It For Me and to Brandon TDM. How are you guys?
Yeah.
And we've, of course, our loyal Facebook viewers that have been around forever.
Marcus from Brazil. Marcus, do you ever miss a show?
I know. Marcus is very loyal. Diane's in Texas. What's going on?
Rosemary says, thanks for the dog abuse story. Nice to see a happy ending. I know that was a really nice follow-up there.
So just out of curiosity, those of you who are with us and have been with us from the beginning, and now you get to see all the stories in their entirety, which I've been pushing for since we started the show, as Keith has as well. And we finally made enough noise to get them to give it. How do you like being able to see all the stories instead of just the behind-the-scenes stuff and having to wait until commercials to talk to us?
Right, and sometimes, you know, we actually always, we want to know what you're thinking with the news of the day. A lot of what we do is in response to the things you're talking about. You know, we pay close attention.
I'm trying to find that.
We pay close attention to what everyone's talking about on Facebook, even Snapchat, and so we want to know what you guys are talking about. We want to know the issues that matter to you, and that's why we have our whole segment, #AskNow. So hopefully by being able to see our stories up
Rachel,
front,
I'm not sure that
you'll be able to
happen.
engage a little bit more. Glad you guys are on board with the idea. I know it makes it a little easier for us too. Especially too, like Lee just got up and walked away. That's because his next shot in the show is in the newsroom, and so oftentimes you would see me just sitting at the desk, you know, reading ahead at my other scripts. But now you'll be able to see like what Lee's talking about in the newsroom. Hey, Katie Ortiz, joining the YouTube party. And you guys remember, or maybe you don't, I'm not sure, a few weeks ago we were on YouTube instead of Facebook because Facebook was down. And we were surprised to see how many people actually joined in and were watching that said they don't have Facebook. So we're just catering to more people.
Hey, Rachel. If you love the theater and you love Maine, you have a lot of idols to choose from after 3 superstars from our state took home Tony Awards last night. The awards, which go on to the Best of Broadway, honored Tony Shalhoub, a University of Southern Maine alum. Tony earned his Tony after a big career on the hit show Monk, but he hit it big on Broadway as the lead in The Band's Visit. And Shalhoub worked with another artist with Maine connections on the Tony Award-winning show. Tyler Micolo, a Portland native, won for Best Lighting Design. Tyler shares his knowledge of stage lighting with students at Bowdoin and at Bates. But wait, because there is more. Another Mainer currently singing and dancing in The Band's Visit. It's John Cariani. He's from Presque Isle. The Band's Visit took home 10 Tony Awards, including Best New Musical. Congratulations to all of those award winners. Right, Lindsay?
Well, there's nothing like free food to boost an otherwise lackluster Monday at work, but a new study shows we may want to stay away from the company kitchen. It showed employees eat more than 1,000 calories a week from cafeterias, vending machines, and free meals or treats. The vast majority of these foods contain high amounts of fat, sodium, and sugar, so those snacks can add up. But it's okay to treat yourself once in a while.
For the very first time ever, a young man in Maine's juvenile detention system has signed a college athletic scholarship.
And then I was like, that's amazing, because I never thought that would happen.
How he plans to make the most of his second chance coming up.
After a brief break from the heat, the temps are climbing again. Keith will tell us how hot it will get next in the full forecast, of course. I liked that zoom in action. That was good. Dun dun dun. It was kind of like the Snapchat, or no, the Instagram story effect where you can zoom in on something.
Sorry, Mary Lee. Didn't mean to confuse you. So we're talking to you, and we're talking to our producer from our earpieces. So we're trying to talk to you, but sometimes she's talking to us. So there's just a lot of talking that goes on during the commercials.
Yeah. But again, that's what you get with behind the scenes, right?
You get it all.
You see what goes on.
You get it all. Oh, somebody loved your pronunciation of yourself.
Treat yourself.
Yourself. Sasha likes that.
One of the
Brad's saving money now because he's going to get rid of cable so he can just hang out with us.
Oh, cool. Don't tell our bosses that. I will say one of the things that like I've learned to do over time is talk while like other noise is immediately going on because of like live shots and that sort of thing, especially in busy places. Like tomorrow night will be a perfect example at like the watch parties for the primary elections. And then I understand that doesn't translate well to times where we're trying to have a conversation with you guys and there's other stuff going on. But I guess it works because we're in the newsroom for our set and there's like stuff going on in the background all the time.
Yeah, you have to be able to really have ADD to do this job. Like you have to be able to hear 7 voices all at once and understand them all and respond to them all.
Right. Like sometimes when we're doing live interviews and Rachel will give us cues in our ear of how much time is left or if we need to stretch and talk more.
Listen to the person's answer, but you need to finish the question. Like Rachel's talking to us right now while I'm talking to you, so I'm listening to that. So I heard what she said, but I'm talking to you.
I love that News Center promo with the sunglasses.
I didn't see that one.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
So pay attention to this next story coming up. This is really cool. This has never happened before. A resident of Long Creek Youth Facility signed an athletic scholarship. You'll see, but he obviously had a really rough life. He's 17 years old now and found that once he found basketball, he was able to focus on tasks at hand and really stay off the path that kept getting him into trouble. And self-admittedly, and his coach even said he was horrible at basketball when he started, but he just needed that one thing to focus on to keep him
it's a great story.
Out of trouble. So
real quick, Johnny Hess writes, so what happens when one of the people... A little history was made at the Long Creek Youth Development Center today.
Now, for the first time in the history of the facility, one of its residents signed a scholarship to attend college and play a sport. The road to get to this day was a long one. Alex Shurius has been in and out of the Long Creek Youth Development Center since he was 12 years old.
I've been disappointing them my whole life, and now's the time I can make them proud.
Now the 17-year-old from Biddeford has a future that he's looking forward to and not dreading. A big part of the credit for that goes to a round ball.
Before basketball, when I was in here, I was not doing good. And if I would have kept doing that, I would have ended up in prison.
Alex will be going to college in the fall, getting scholarship money from UMaine Machias to play basketball. He plans to major in business and open up his own sneaker company someday. As he officially signed his letter of intent in front of his family and friends, those who are still in Long Creek have seen firsthand that at the end of what seems like a never-ending dark tunnel, there can be light.
And now we have a player that's going to college, so this is the real deal, and it's very easy to get people to buy in now, where you were pitching a dream early on, now you're pitching a reality.
Meanwhile, Alex's new coach at Machias says he never gave a second thought about adding a player with Alex's background.
You know, I'll say this, UMM, we're more concerned about his future than we are his past.
And Alex is currently out of Long Creek, living at a transition house in Portland called the RISE program. It's a relatively new program that allows kids to transition out of Long Creek back into the community. Alex will stay there until he heads off to college at the end of August. And it was fun today seeing all of the people who are still in Long Creek and his teammates and his fellow residents respond to him and seeing him succeed. And when you're in that place where you just don't think you're ever going to get out of there, and then you see somebody does and they're doing something positive, it's infectious. And hopefully it obviously translates to the other kids there too, and they can all do similar things.
An inspiration and a role model.
Absolutely.
This weather's inspiring me to actually get out there and maybe exercise.
Not me.
I know. Do you guys
out
take
there,
advantage?
yes, exercise now.
Yeah,
right.
I'm with Lee. I like to go into a warehouse to work out. No windows, preferably. Beautiful day after a great weekend, right? I mean, hard to beat this weekend. It was a little bit warmer on Saturday than Sunday, but both days were sunny. Another sunny day today. Temperatures, though, certainly on the cool side by a couple of degrees for this time of the year. But the dew point makes it feel even cooler. Very low dew point out there, very dry air mass. Visible satellite nice and clean all the way back into the eastern Great Lakes, so another sunny day tomorrow. But tomorrow will be significantly warmer than today. A lot of us getting into the 80s. Here are the dew points, as I mentioned, in the 30s, so a really dry air mass, and it will slowly start increasing humidity tomorrow, and you'll really feel the humidity by Wednesday. But because the dew point is low, and it's going to be clear, overnight lows will be chilly in spots, some of us in the 30s, a lot of us in the 40s, even along the immediate coastline. So that's something that you will notice here later on tonight into early tomorrow morning. But again, tomorrow looks nice, and it is much warmer than today. Most of us at least 10 degrees warmer than we were today. Getting into the upper 70s to around 80 along the coastline. I mentioned I'm not quite sure what this model is doing with the temperatures, but I'm pretty sure it's too cool. Yes, we start off cool, but by the afternoon, we should be around 80 along the coastline, and then as we head inland, probably between 82 and 85 degrees for a high temperature from Augusta to Lewiston to Freiburg, into Bangor, into Berlin as well. So warm bordering on hot tomorrow away from the coastline. Then Wednesday we see a few more clouds popping in. The humidity's high, it's soupy out, and then showers and thunderstorms pop up through the afternoon. Some of those could have some very heavy downpours embedded in them, which would be a positive to some degree because we're just starting to eke into a low-end drought across the mid-coast and southern Maine. They call it abnormally dry, so it's the lowest drought category, but going in that direction. So rain would be a positive in that case. All right, we got the chance to have a really warm and perhaps hot Father's Day in the upper 80s, some low 90s away from the coastline. I know Lee likes it like that, so it's going to be nice. The weekend looks good at this point. Again, it's all about heat, and the heat may continue into next week, Monday and Tuesday, have the potential away from the coastline to be upper 80s, perhaps 90. So I think we're going to get a couple of days there, starting with the weekend, that feel very much like summer. And, people will complain, but overall, I dig it.
It's not summer. It's summer.
Summer.
Yeah,
I know.
No ER.
For being from Massachusetts, I was able to escape that whole...
I know, I did too.
Yeah, we practiced our non-regional diction, I think. I think that's what it is.
Listen to that enunciation.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's still summer.
Yeah.
Wicked.
No, that's awful. Okay. So you guys might not even realize this, but today marks a brand new era in the history of the internet.
Not because of what we're doing here behind the scenes, but net neutrality is gone, and that means some big changes could be on the way. Slower download speeds, higher prices. Susan McGinnis explains it all.
The end of net neutrality became official today.
A lot of this is about who has power on the internet and who runs the internet.
The FCC's repeal means consumers are no longer guaranteed equal access to the web. Internet providers like AT&T, Verizon, Charter, and Comcast, NBC's parent company, can throttle down speeds for companies like Netflix, Hulu, and YouTube if they won't pay for faster service. The repeal is a win for FCC Chairman Ajit Pai, who has argued for a market-based approach to the internet.
From this day forward, I think our interest is making sure that we have a free and open internet and that consumers are able to get better, faster, cheaper internet services.
Critics argue the opposite will happen. Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi said the Trump administration has set into motion the destruction of the free and open internet. Consumer advocates say undoing the rules will crowd out small firms, hurt the economy, and slow innovation.
The question is who controls it and who should pay for it, and eventually it will be the consumer.
Nearly 24 states are suing, saying the repeal is against federal law. Democratic lawmakers are fighting to reinstate the rules.
Well, consumers won't notice the changes anytime soon, as the new FCC rules will take a while to take effect. In Washington, Susan McGinnis, NBC News.
All right, kids, how do you feel about this? All right, tell us now. IHOP is becoming IHOB It's a marketing ploy by the International House of Pancakes. They announced that the B was coming last week, but they didn't say what that letter was going to stand for. But after thousands of guesses from people all over the internet, the wait is finally over, and the B stands for burgers. That is not breakfast food. A lot of people assumed that the B would stand for breakfast or brunch. One person even suggested bacon. That would have been good. But lots of people are confused by burgers.
Says the man who orders at IHOP a double side of bacon.
Bacon with a side of bacon.
A spokesperson for IHOP says the change is temporary to promote the new burgers over the summer months. Other brands are throwing some shade IHOP's way. Of course, Wendy's is in fine, sassy form today. And Netflix threw in a B barb as well. Okay. Well, there you go.
All right. News Center 5:30 coming up next. Cindy Williams has a preview. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. It's pretty hard to watch, but a Snapchat video taken apparently right here in Maine could be a case of bullying, and it is making its way across the internet. The repercussions of that viral video coming up in the next half hour. And the candidates are out in force on this last full day of campaigning before tomorrow's primary, and the gubernatorial candidates are talking about their feelings on ranked choice voting. Those stories and much more ahead at 5:30. Back to you.
All right, Cindy, thanks so much. We'll see you with Brain Drops when we come back.
All right, kiddies. So, talk to me about this IHOP thing.
Right, what do you think?
Because
it almost broke the internet
Why can't
earlier.
you just say you're IHOP? I mean, I guess you want to be cute and do burgers for the summer, but can't you just call it IHOP and we're going to specialize in burgers?
I will say,
because people are confused now. They think, is that going to be like for real?
Right.
Is that permanent? Are you always going to be that way? Are you still going to serve breakfast? Like, you can't confuse your base.
I will say, here's my input for this story.
Okay.
When I worked a crazy shift, when I worked the overnights from midnight to 8, or I worked, 3:30 a.m. to, noon, like many people do that overnight shift, those early morning hours, you want like lunch and dinner foods at weird times, like different from what normal people would have. And I remember thinking at 9 a.m., I could really go for a cheeseburger right now, but no places were selling cheeseburgers that early. Even fast food chains, they don't turn over till like 11 a.m. in some cases. So for those situations, I think this is going to be a good thing.
Rach, I pinned one. Where's Digital Diva? Hey, Katie Ortiz. What? Do you have a minute to talk to the people? The people demand your presence. So you are a seasoned IHOP employee.
7 years strong.
So tell me your feelings on this. This is like right to the source.
Well, for a while I've been playing it off as like a PR stunt because I feel like, I'm pretty sure Burger King did something similar where they were like, we're going to change our name. Can you guess what it is? Da, da, da. And then it ended up not. It was just like a promotion for something. So I feel like they're going to come out and say, we now make our burgers with 100% beef or like whatever, just some grandiose thing that's going to be life-changing. But I'm also, it's becoming increasingly clear that that may not be the case.
Good point.
They're making people mad.
Katie, I'm walking.
On board with IHOB. That sounds lame.
Hey, what's up, John Hickey? Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
This one
I don't know if you've seen us on the old Facebook Live before, but I'm glad you're watching us on YouTube. Yeah, we are.
Hey, did you mean that
cutting
pun?
edge, John.
Double down.
Cutting edge.
Double burger.
For you.
Ugh.
Their sales must have been slumping or something, right?
John, we do this every day. Make sure you tune in. We're looking for you.
Something's
If you
going on
don't,
with
we're
our
going to say,
YouTube
where's
page.
John?
Yeah?
Because I
Say hi to
put it
John.
on my Facebook, and like 4 people in a row are like, this is the error message I get when I click on it.
Oh.
And then I click on it, it works.
That's weird.
So I'm going to make Liam in schools from home deal with it.
All right, we have a conversation going right now on our Facebook live stream and on YouTube as well. So whatever you have, be sure to join the conversation.
Johnny weighs in on the gender-neutral licenses and says, if you don't have to choose a gender, then why would we even ask the question on the form in the first place? Wouldn't it have just made more sense to do away with the question? So a lot of you do have opinions about that, and if you missed that story, it is up on our website. Make sure you go check it out and see what we're talking about. And as always, join the conversation, not just on Facebook,
YouTube
but
too.
now on YouTube. And we gotta say hi to John.
Yeah.
John's on our YouTube. He's our first kind of official "how you doing, guys" kind of guy. Okay. So John, we love
Put
you,
in the
man.
comments live on
We love
TV.
you.
I don't see anything that could go wrong there. Okay, today's Brain Drops is interesting. It's the different types of power and how much of it you need to power the average American household for one day. And it's interesting. So let's move on. Kilowatt hours, 30 of them. So how much solar power would you need? You need 450 square feet of solar panels to power the average house during the day. And of course, these solar panels are done usually in farm format. If you're going to go with natural gas, you need 324 cubic feet of natural gas. Now remember, natural gas is a gas, but they measure it in cubic feet by volume still. So you need quite a bit of natural gas, despite the fact that it's become very popular. How about wind power? This is interesting. Only 54 seconds of a stiff breeze to power an American household. The problem right now is that we're not very good at storing the electricity that comes from solar power. So we're still working on that. Coal, you need to burn 33 pounds of coal to have the average American household be able to do its thing, which is why part of the reason why coal is not as popular anymore. Plus, it's super dirty. And then 3 gallons of oil, which is the currency a lot of people think about with heating their home. But if you were to take oil, put it in a generator, like you would like during an ice storm, it would take 3 gallons for the average house. So it's kind of interesting to see. Obviously, solar has potential, but we got to be able to store it.
So figure it out.
Right now, we can't store it.
Let's get on that, and then we'll be rich.
We'll fix that.
Boom.
I think that's pretty easy.
5:30 starts. When does it start?
Now.
Now. Thank you, YouTubers.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, our loyal Facebook people. Happy to be able to bring you all the stories now instead of just telling you that we can't do that. So now we can. Yay for us.
We're can-do kind of people.
Yeah, we are. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.